Well, let's go in and see how to use the mod and the ternary operators so we can automatic reposition images on the page. Now, this is going to give you a sneak peek at using the JavaScript DOM, the document object model. Now, here's some of the tools that you're going to learn from this lab. First of all, you're going to find out about get elements by tag name. Now, what do the parentheses tell you? What is this? What is this thing here? It's a function. Did you write it? Did I write it? Did somebody out in the web world write it? Well, where did this thing come from? Yeah, it came from the JavaScript library. It's built in. You get it free with every browser. And when you see what it does, you'll go, whoa, this is cool. What we're going to do is we're going to use this to build us a list of image elements. And the image elements show pictures on the page. Now, we're going to use the mod operator and the ternary to determine if a picture is odd or even. And once we know that, we're going to use another DOM function called setAttribute, so we can set the attribute to either go left or right. So all the even pictures are going to go on over on the left, all the odd pictures are going to go on the right. I think that's how it's going to work out. Now, later on, when you learn arrays and loops, this is going to be done with just a few lines of code. But until then, we're going to kind of walk through one at a time. Last week we talked about the ternary operator. Why is it called the ternary? Because it has three parts. And what are those three parts? What's inside the parentheses? The question, yeah. And what answer? We only get two answers. What are the two answers? It's a question that's going to get two answers. What are the two answers? True or false? That's the only two answers you can get. And then what comes after the question mark? No. No. If true, if this answer comes out true, then whatever's after the question mark is going to be sent over to is going to be used. If that question comes out false, then anything after the colon is what's going to be used. So let's take a look at this. And here's a nice piece of code that shows us the ternary that we're going to use. So here's our mod operator, and we're saying 1 mod 2 equals 0. Is that going to be true or false? Remember, mod is the remainder. So is there going to be a remainder here? Does 1 divided by 2 come out even? No, you're thinking 0.5, but we're thinking whole numbers now. Okay, so what's 1 divided by 2? What's the answer? No, 1 divided by 2 is 0 with a remainder of 1, right? So this says the remainder is, does that equal 0? What's our remainder again? 1. So does that equal 0? So what's our answer? False. So what one are we going to do, left or right? We're going to go to the right, and right is going to go into type of image. And then this is our list right here. This is our first image, and we're going to set the attribute to align, and it's going to be right. All right, let's go on to the next image. What's 2 divided by 2? 1. What's the remainder, or the mod? It's 0. So does 2 mod 2 equal 0? That's true, so which one are we going to use? We're going to put left in here. Okay, so image, the second item on the list is going to be 2. Let's try this one. 3 divided by 2 is 1 with a remainder of what? 1. So does 3 mod 2 equal 0? Nope. So we're going to put right in this. Do you see how we're figuring out if we go left or right, left or right, left or right? And we keep on doing that. Here's the other piece we need is the if else. Now you did the ternary, so this is the same thing as a ternary. If this is true or false, this is the question. Here's the first part of the ternary, here's the second part. So this says if 0 mod 2 equals 0, is 0 divided by 2? What's the remainder? No, 0 divided by 2, what's the remainder? It's 2, right? Does that equal 0? Nope. So we're going to jump down here to the else, and we're going to say, okay, take right and put it into type of image. Now, which would you rather do? Would you rather have this one line right here, or would you like to write all this code right here? Well, professional programmers like doing one line of code. This is called elegant programming. This is what beginners like. They're comfortable with this because they can see it all. You see the whole piece? These two things, this and this, are synonymous. They're the same thing. This is just done a lot more efficiently than this piece of code right here. Well, let's take a look at this old mod operator here. So here's a picture of what we just went through. Again, this is the remainder of, and what you can do in your head is you can divide and say what's left over. So 1 divided by 2 is going to give us a remainder of 1. That doesn't match 0, so it's right. And then we go through this all over again. We just went through this. Do you see the graphic piece of it? Where is this arrow coming from? Taking this and putting it over here into this variable on the left. What's making that happen? The assignment operator. Where's the assignment operator? Right here. Do you see it? So here's the operator that says, okay, take whatever you figure out over here. Once you figure it out, take it and put it into this bucket. Same thing here. Take whatever is over on the right side and put it in this bucket. So do you see that assignment operator is really, really important. Now, here's the mod operator with even and odd. So here's the table right here, 0 divided, or mod 2, 0 mod 1 mod 2, 2 mod 2. Do you see that divides even, so it's 0? Here it's even, so it's 0. Here it's even, so it's 0. Everybody see the pattern? Here we divide by 5s. 5. All of these are the remainders until we get to 5 again. And it's 0. And that, you can see that pattern, so we can count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. We can do it by 3s. We do it by 4s. We do all kinds of stuff like that. Here's the code you're going to use for get elements by tag name. This is a member of the DOM, so you're going to say document, which is my web page. It says look at my tree on the web page, get elements by tag name, and in this case, what element are we looking for? The img tag. What if we typed it image? I'm sorry? Wouldn't break, but what would be in our image list? Nothing. It'd be an empty list. All right? So you have to spell your tags right for this function to find it. If we have 3 images on our web page, how many items are we going to have in the list? 3. If we have 16 images on our web page, how many items is this going to capture and put on our list? 16. Does anybody know what the number of the first image is going to be? It's going to be 0, because we're going to count from 0. Pretty sneaky. And programmers just like to count from 0. Here's another example. This is if we want every paragraph from our web page, we would say get elements by tag name and then use the p tag. And here's the image tag. So we can literally get any tag we want, any XHTML tag we want from the web page and build a list. Wait, there's more. Here's the onload event. Now, I just finished showing you the click event. When do you think the onload event happens? I'm sorry? When the page finishes loading. So as soon as the browser hits that stop HTML, that triggers off whatever code is on the onload event. Let's take a look at that. And here's where we put it. We put it in the body tag, and we say, okay, as soon as the body is loaded, then run this function. And this is a function that we're going to write. Right? So this is pretty cool because the page loads, and then we run this function automatically. Nobody has to click on anything. The user just thinks it's all part of the web page, which is very, very cool. It's a great way to run some of your JavaScript functions as soon as the page loads. It's like putting your page on automatic. And I talked about the set attribute, but here's some code for you. And you can use it. You can use this as you do work on the lab. So this is really, remember, we start with item 0. So this is really our second item. This is our second image. We're going to set the attribute to align. Let me show you what that looks like real quick. I don't have a picture or anything, but so here's my image tag, and I'll say source equals mypic.jpg alt photo of Peter. And that's the image of my tag. Now, as soon as we run this set attribute, let's say the image that I just created is this image right here in the list. As soon as I run this function, here's what it's, and what do we want in here? Type of image. We want right or left? It's your choice. Right. Okay, so we're going to set the attribute align to right. So as soon as this runs, watch what is going to happen up in the computer's memory. It's going to do this. It's going to go align equals right. Done. All right? And if that code right here if this contained left, what would be right in here? Trick question, almost. All right, everybody see it? So what this is doing, this set attribute, is this is automatically putting this attribute inside of our image tag. Now take a look at this code. Notice the images. What are the images doing? What's this first images? Image 0. What's it doing? Which alignment does it have? Left. How about image 1? Right. Image 2. Left. And I think that's, image 3. Right? You see how they're going back and forth? Image 4. Image 5. Did I do this? No. Do you want to look at the code? Yes? Oh, good answer. All right. So here's the code. We'll blow it up a little big. So here's my position image. I set up a variable, again, my data layer. Here's my variable. I initialize it to empty. Here's my image list. And you can go along here. What do you think I use this alert for? Yeah, this was my stubbing in to make sure that position image worked. As soon as it worked, I commented out. If it breaks again, I can uncomment it real easy. So now it tells me I'm building a list of images. So here's that get elements by tag name. I'm looking for my image tags. And I'm going to put that list in this thing called image list. Now, is that a great name for that list or what? So now I'm going through my first list, and I'm saying, okay, if 0 equals, or mod 2 is 0, does the remainder of 0 divided by 2 equal 0? And it doesn't. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to push it to the right. And so notice type of image now is right. So I'm going to say the first image on my list that I just built, I'm going to set the attribute and I'm going to align it to right. Now that's the long way with an if-else statement. Here's the same thing with a ternary. So you can see how slick that is in 2 lines. Where here I took all these lines of code from here to here. It took all that space to do what I did right here, and again for the 3rd image and the 4th image, 5th image, 6th image. See how I did all that? Also, notice my commenting. I use those asterisks to really highlight and make it easy to see the different parts of this. And that's the end of my position image. Here's the CSS I used. Here's my no script in case the user had turned off the script. And I gently remind them, please turn it on so you can run this page. And it's always a good reason to tell them why, tell them what you're going to do. And then here's my intro. And here's my image. Now, this is a really long file because it's up on D2L. But here's my image, and you can see there's my source, my alt tag, and there's no align. Well, where did the align come in? And that's true for all these images. There's no align, okay? So when the page loads, where's my body tag? Let me find my body. When the page loads, as soon as the page is loaded, it jumps up and it runs my position image. Runs and does this code, and that's where the alignment gets put in. And if you step through this, if you put a breakpoint right here on line 15 and step through this, you would see those alignments automatically being put in. And what the user sees automatically is the images going back and forth. Now, for grins and giggles, go in and change position image to position image and put an X here so it's named wrong, so it doesn't work. And you'll see all your images are all separate, all by themselves. So you'll see that the alignment doesn't work until you run this code. So that's 2 things you can do on this page. One is set up a breakpoint right here, step through, see how it unfolds. The other thing is to break it to see what the page looks like when you don't run this code. And again, the way I saw that was, I viewed this was page source, page view source. Oh, I'm sorry, view page source.